Deep within the ice sheets of Antarctica, beneath 3 kilometers of ancient glacier, Outpost Horizon hummed with activity. The facility had maintained its vigil for over 2 centuries, watching the stars while the rest of humanity dreamed of peace. Admiral Victoria Hayes stood before the main observation screen, her weathered face illuminated by the constant stream of data flowing across multiple displays. Another anomaly, Admiral, First Lieutenant Marcus Cole reported, his dark eyes fixed on the quantum detection array readings. Same signature as before, but stronger this time. Victoria's jaw tightened. For 3 months, they'd been tracking these energy signatures, massive distortions in spacetime that defied the known laws of physics. The Galactic Council had assured Earth that peace would reign eternal, that the age of stellar warfare was over. But humanity had never fully trusted those promises. "Show me the pattern analysis," she ordered, moving to Marcus's station. The young officer's fingers danced across the holographic interface, bringing up a three-dimensional representation of the anomaly's movement patterns. "They're not random jumps," Marcus explained, highlighting several points in the projection. "These distortions are systematic. Whatever's causing them is moving with purpose, Admiral, and they're getting closer." Victoria had spent 30 years in command of Outpost Horizon, one of Earth's 12 hidden defense installations. While the rest of humanity lived in the supposed golden age of galactic peace, these facilities had maintained humanity's military readiness in absolute secrecy. "Contact the other outposts," she commanded. "I want full confirmation from at least 3 other stations before we initiate Protocol Prometheus." The next 12 hours passed in a blur of activity. One by one, the other outposts reported in. Each had detected the same patterns, the same methodical approach of something massive moving through the void, something that didn't want to be seen. In her private quarters, Victoria accessed the secure quantum channel that connected directly to Earth's hidden military command. "General Rhodes," she began, "I'm declaring a Theta-level alert. The anomalies we've been tracking, they're ships. A fleet larger than anything we've seen before." The general's holographic projection flickered slightly. "You're certain?" "We've confirmed the signatures with multiple outposts. They're using some kind of advanced stealth technology, but our quantum detection arrays can still pick up their wake. They're trying to be subtle, which means they don't know we can see them." "How long?" Rhodes asked, his holographic face grim. "At their current speed, they'll reach our outer solar system in approximately 72 hours. They're being careful, methodical. This isn't a random patrol or exploration fleet. This is an invasion force." The general was silent for a long moment. "You understand what this means, Victoria. If we activate our defense forces now, we reveal everything. The Council will know we've been maintaining military capabilities in secret, all our preparation, all our hidden technology." "If we don't act now," Victoria countered, "there won't be an Earth left to face the consequences." "The Council's peace was always an illusion, General. We knew this day would come. That's why we never stopped watching. That's why we never stopped preparing." Rhodes nodded slowly. "Initiate Protocol Prometheus. Wake up our sleeping giants. I'll inform the other installation commanders. May whatever gods exist have mercy on us all." Victoria returned to the command center, where Marcus waited with the latest sensor data. "Orders, Admiral." She squared her shoulders, feeling the weight of centuries of preparation settling upon them. "Send the activation codes to the orbital platforms, begin powering up the defense grid, and get me a direct line to Luna Base. It's time to wake the fleet." As klaxons began to sound throughout the facility, Victoria watched her crew spring into action with practiced efficiency. They had trained for this moment their entire lives, preparing for a war that most of humanity thought impossible. "They thought we were naive," she murmured, watching as the first energy signatures of Earth's awakening defenses began to appear on the tactical displays. "They thought we'd grown soft in the long peace. But humanity never forgot how to fight. We never forgot what it means to survive." Deep beneath the ice, ancient machines roared to life. In hidden bases across the solar system, weapons platforms emerged from their camouflaged shelters. And in the darkness between worlds, humanity's secret fleet began to stir, ready to reveal itself to a galaxy that had foolishly believed Earth was defenseless. The invasion force approached, unaware that their element of surprise was already lost. Unaware that humanity had spent 3 millennia preparing for exactly this moment. The peace was over, but humanity was ready. The silent watchers had done their duty, and now the time for silence was past. The surface of Luna remained as it had been for billions of years, a desolate landscape of craters and endless gray dust. But deep within the moon's sea of tranquility, something stirred. Captain Diana Rodriguez stood at the main viewport of Luna Base Alpha, watching as massive hangar doors slowly parted, revealing the first of Earth's hidden warships. The Hyperion is ready for launch, Captain, reported Technical Director Ravi Patel, his voice tight with anticipation. Power systems are at optimal levels. Weapon systems are coming online. The massive vessel before them was a masterpiece of human engineering, its sleek form bearing little resemblance to the peaceful ships that plied the trade routes of the Galactic Council. This was a warship, pure and simple, designed and built in absolute secrecy over decades. Status of the other ships, Diana asked, her eyes fixed on the Hyperion's gleaming hull. The Prometheus and the Atlas are at 90% power. The rest of the fleet will be ready within 6 hours. Ravi consulted his datapad. Admiral Hayes's warning came just in time. Another day and we might not have been able to power up the systems without detection. Diana nodded grimly. For centuries, Luna Base Alpha had maintained these ships in a state of near readiness, hiding their energy signatures from the Council's routine scans. Now, with an alien fleet approaching, secrecy was no longer the priority. Captain, Lieutenant Wei Zhang called from his station. We're receiving a priority transmission from Antarctica. Admiral Hayes is requesting immediate communication. Diana moved to the command center's main display as Hayes's holographic form materialized. The Admiral's expression was even more serious than usual. Captain Rodriguez, we've detected additional contacts. The invasion fleet is larger than our initial estimates. They've split into 3 battle groups, each approaching from a different vector. A coordinated attack, Diana mused. They're not taking any chances. No, they're not, but neither are we. General Rhodes has authorized the activation of Project Aegis. You know what that means. Diana's breath caught. Project Aegis was their ultimate deterrent, a weapons system so powerful its very existence had been compartmentalized even within their secret organization. Are you certain that's necessary, Admiral? The enemy fleet outmatches our visible forces by at least 5 to 1. We need every advantage we can get. Hayes's hologram flickered slightly. You have the codes. Begin the activation sequence. As the transmission ended, Diana turned to her crew. Clear the primary launch bay. I want the Hyperion ready for immediate deployment, and get me a secure line to Aegis control. The next few hours were a blur of activity. Throughout the solar system, humanity's hidden defenses emerged from their long slumber. Automated weapon platforms activated in the asteroid belt. Stealth satellites powered up their targeting systems. And in bases across Earth's surface, military personnel who had trained in secret their entire lives prepared for the coming battle. Captain, Ravi called out, his voice unusually sharp. We're detecting unusual energy signatures from the approaching fleet. They're powering up weapons. Diana moved to his station, studying the readings. The alien vessels were still hours away, far beyond conventional weapons range. They're not planning to negotiate, she said quietly. They mean to hit us hard and fast before we can organize any defense. They don't know what we have waiting for them, Wei pointed out. No, they don't, and that's our advantage. Diana straightened, addressing the entire command center. This is what we've prepared for. Every drill, every simulation, every secret we've kept, it was all for this moment. Humanity is about to remind the galaxy why we survived every catastrophe our history threw at us. On her order, the massive hangar doors opened fully, revealing the entire lunar fleet. 12 warships, each a testament to human ingenuity and determination, each powered by technology that even the Galactic Council didn't possess. Begin launch sequence, Diana commanded. All ships to battle stations, deploy according to Protocol 7. As the fleet began to move, Diana received another transmission, this time from General Rhodes himself. Captain, we've just received intelligence from our deep space arrays. We've identified the attacking force. Diana felt her blood run cold at the general's tone. Who are they? The Drachnid Imperium. They've been building their forces in secret just like us. They mean to take Earth, to use our world as a staging ground for a larger campaign against the Council. They chose the wrong planet to invade, Diana replied, her voice hard. Agreed, but be careful, Captain. The Drachnids aren't known for their mercy, if we can't stop them here. We'll stop them, Diana interrupted, whatever it takes. As the transmission ended, Diana watched as the Hyperion's engines flared to life. Across the lunar surface, other ships began to rise, their massive forms casting long shadows across the moon's cratered landscape. The peace was over. 3,000 years of preparation were about to be put to the test, and humanity was about to show the galaxy that keeping secrets went both ways. The void between Mars and Jupiter erupted with energy as the Drachnid fleet dropped out of hyperspace. Their ships were massive, organic-looking vessels that seemed to absorb light rather than reflect it. Aboard the Hyperion, Captain Diana Rodriguez watched the tactical display with studied calm as hundreds of enemy vessels materialized. Multiple contacts, Combat Officer Nathan Drake reported, his fingers dancing across the tactical interface. I count 300 capital ships and at least twice that many support vessels. Energy readings are off the charts. They're not bothering to hide anymore, Technical Director Ravi observed grimly. They think they've caught us unprepared. Diana allowed herself a small smile. That's their first mistake, status of Project Aegis. Online and ready, Lieutenant Wei confirmed from his station. The quantum field is stable, we can trigger it on your command. The Drachnid fleet moved forward in perfect formation, their ships arranging themselves into attack patterns that spoke of centuries of military tradition. They were confident, methodical, and completely unaware of what awaited them. All ships battle positions, Diana ordered. Execute Formation Delta. Let's show them what humanity's been working on for the last 3,000 years. The human fleet moved with precision that matched their enemies. 12 massive warships, each carrying weapons that had never been revealed to the galaxy, took up defensive positions around Earth. Behind them, hundreds of automated defense platforms emerged from their hiding places in the asteroid belt. Enemy fleet is launching fighters, Nathan reported. Wait, something's wrong, their formation is changing. Diana leaned forward, studying the tactical display. The Drachnid fleet had suddenly shifted, their neat formations dissolving into something more chaotic. They've detected Aegis, she realized. They don't know what it is, but they know something's out there. Captain Wei's voice was urgent. We're being hailed. The enemy flagship is requesting communication. Diana straightened her uniform, put them through. The holographic display flickered to life, revealing a towering figure. The Drachnid commander was an imposing sight, scaled skin, multiple eyes, and mandibles that clicked as they spoke. This is Supreme Commander Xerax of the Drachnid Imperium. Your world will surrender immediately, or we will reduce your civilization to ash. Diana met the alien's gaze without flinching. This is Captain Diana Rodriguez of the Earth Defense Force. We've been expecting you. The Drachnid commander's mandibles twitched surprise, perhaps. You have hidden capabilities, human, impressive but futile. We have conquered 1,000 worlds. Your secrets will not save you. You're right about one thing, Diana replied. We do have secrets, let me show you one of them. She cut the transmission with a gesture. All ships' combat positions activate Aegis. Throughout the solar system, hidden quantum transmitters powered up. The technology was humanity's greatest achievement, a field of artificial spacetime that could be manipulated at will. The Drachnids had no defense against it because they'd never imagined such a weapon could exist. Aegis field is stabilizing, Ravi reported. Ready on your command. Diana watched as the enemy fleet began to move, their ships spreading out in an attempt to counter whatever weapon they thought was coming. Target their lead vessels. Show them what happens when you threaten Earth. The quantum field pulsed. In an instant, space itself seemed to twist around 3 Drachnid battlecruisers. The massive ships shuddered, their hull plating warping as local spacetime compressed around them. Then, with a flash of energy that briefly outshone the sun, the vessels simply ceased to exist. Direct hits, Nathan confirmed. Enemy fleet is responding, they're launching a full attack. The void erupted with weapons fire. Drachnid energy beams lashed out at the human fleet, only to be absorbed by shields based on technology humanity had kept hidden for centuries. The Earthships responded with weapons of their own, quantum torpedoes, graviton beams, and technologies that had no name in any alien language. Multiple enemy ships disabled, Wei reported. Their shields can't handle our quantum weapons, but Captain, they're adapting. Their second wave is modifying their shield frequencies. Diana nodded grimly. They're quick learners, good, this won't be boring. She opened a channel to the fleet. All ships execute attack pattern Omega, show them everything we've got. The battle raged for hours. The Drachnids were powerful, experienced, and utterly ruthless. But humanity had spent 3 millennia preparing for exactly this kind of fight. Every weapon, every tactic, every technology had been developed with one purpose: to ensure Earth's survival against any threat. Enemy fleet is pulling back, Nathan announced finally. They're regrouping at the edge of the system. Diana studied the tactical display. The Drachnids had lost nearly a third of their ships while the human fleet remained largely intact, but she knew better than to celebrate too early. They'll be back, she said quietly. This was just the first round. They'll analyze our capabilities, adapt their strategies, and hit us again harder. Let them come, Ravi replied, his voice firm. We've got more surprises waiting. Diana looked out at the battlefield, where debris from destroyed Drachnid ships drifted silently in the void. The galaxy had just learned that humanity was far more dangerous than anyone had suspected, but she knew this was only the beginning. Send word to Earth, she ordered. Tell them humanity's long silence is over, and we're done playing defense. On the bridge of the Hyperion, Captain Diana Rodriguez studied the holographic display of the solar system. The Drachnid fleet had retreated to the Kuiper Belt, their remaining ships gathered in defensive formations around their massive flagship. They were regrouping, analyzing, preparing for their next assault. But humanity had no intention of waiting. Status of the quantum targeting array, Diana asked, her eyes fixed on the enemy positions. Technical Director Ravi consulted his screens. Fully operational, Captain. The data from our first engagement has allowed us to refine the targeting algorithms. We can now predict their ships' defensive reconfigurations with 89% accuracy. Enemy fleet is showing unusual energy signatures, Lieutenant Wei reported from his station. They're deploying some kind of large-scale energy web between their ships. Diana nodded grimly. They're adapting to Project Aegis, creating a collective defense grid to distribute the quantum effects across multiple vessels. She turned to Combat Officer Nathan Drake. How long until the stealth platforms are in position? 2 hours, Captain. The Drachnids haven't detected them yet. Their attention is focused on our main fleet. The plan was audacious, perhaps even reckless. But humanity hadn't spent 3 millennia preparing for war just to play it safe. While the enemy focused on countering Project Aegis, automated stealth platforms were moving into position throughout the Kuiper Belt, each carrying weapons that would turn the very environment of space against the Drachnid fleet. Message from Admiral Hayes, Wei announced. The Council has finally responded to our distress call. They're demanding we stand down and explain our illegal military buildup. Diana allowed herself a bitter laugh. Of course they are. The Council never understood. Peace isn't maintained by pretending war doesn't exist. It's maintained by being ready to defend it. She straightened in her command chair. Send no response. We have more important matters to attend to. The next 2 hours passed in tense preparation. The human fleet maintained its defensive positions around Earth, presenting an obvious target while the real threat moved silently into place. Finally, Nathan gave the signal they'd been waiting for. Stealth platforms are in position, Captain. All systems ready. Diana opened a channel to the fleet. All ships' battle stations execute Operation Thunderbolt. Across the Kuiper Belt, hundreds of stealth platforms suddenly activated. But instead of targeting the Drachnid ships directly, they fired into the surrounding space. Concentrated beams of energy struck chunks of ice and rock, flash vaporizing them into expanding clouds of superheated plasma. Multiple detonations confirmed, Nathan reported. Plasma clouds are expanding at predicted rates. Enemy fleet is responding. The Drachnids found themselves surrounded by a rapidly growing network of plasma storms, their carefully arranged defensive formation now working against them. Ships that tried to break free found their shields battered by both the plasma and precise shots from the human fleet. Their energy web is destabilizing, Ravi announced. The plasma is interfering with their shield harmonics. Now, Diana ordered, all ships full attack, show them what else we've been hiding. The human fleet surged forward, weapons blazing. But these weren't the same weapons they'd used in the first battle. Each ship now deployed new systems, technologies that had been held in reserve specifically for this moment. Quantum torpedoes phased through the Drachnid's weakened shields as if they didn't exist. Graviton beams twisted space itself around enemy vessels, crushing their hulls. And Project Aegis, now refined and focused, created localized time distortions that left Drachnid ships fighting battles that had already ended. Enemy flagship is launching some kind of counterattack, Wei warned. Energy readings are off the scale. The massive Drachnid vessel unleashed a wave of destructive force unlike anything they'd seen before. Several human stealth platforms were instantly vaporized, and even the Hyperion's advanced shields struggled to compensate. They're desperate, Diana observed calmly. They've realized we're not the primitive species they thought we were, that we've been preparing for this longer than they have. She turned to Nathan. Target their flagship, all weapons. The Hyperion's main guns spoke as one, joined by concentrated fire from the rest of the fleet. The Drachnid flagship's shields flared brilliantly as they tried to repel the assault. For a moment, it seemed they might hold. Then Project Aegis activated one final time, creating a focused quantum singularity at the heart of the enemy vessel. The massive ship seemed to fold in on itself, its structure twisting impossibly before vanishing in a flash of blinding light. Enemy fleet is breaking formation, Nathan reported, unable to keep the excitement from his voice. They're retreating. Diana watched as the remaining Drachnid ships fled, their once-proud formation now a chaotic rout. But she felt no triumph, no celebration. This victory had been bought with 3,000 years of preparation, with countless resources devoted to a war that most of humanity never knew was coming. Send word to Earth, she ordered quietly. Tell them the counterattack was successful, but also tell them to stay ready. The galaxy just learned that humanity is far more dangerous than anyone suspected. This won't be the last challenge we face. As the Drachnid fleet disappeared into hyperspace, Diana looked out at the battlefield. Humanity had won its first major interstellar war, but she knew this was just the beginning. The galaxy would never be the same, and neither would humanity. 1 month after the Battle of the Kuiper Belt, Captain Diana Rodriguez stood before the Galactic Council chamber on Centauri Prime. The massive hall was filled with representatives from 1,000 worlds, all gathered to witness something unprecedented: humanity's formal recognition as a major galactic power. The humans deceived us all, the Arxian representative was saying, his crystalline form pulsing with agitation. They maintained illegal military forces, developed forbidden technologies, violated countless treaties. We violated nothing, Diana interrupted, her voice carrying clearly through the chamber. Every treaty, every agreement specified limitations on known military technology. Everything we developed was unknown, deliberately so. We simply understood what the rest of the galaxy had forgotten: peace must be protected. Behind her stood Admiral Hayes and General Rhodes, along with Technical Director Ravi Patel and Combat Officer Nathan Drake. They represented not just Earth's military leadership, but humanity's new role in galactic affairs. The Drachnid Imperium's invasion force has been completely destroyed, Diana continued. Their leadership is in chaos, their military broken, and now they know, as you all do, that humanity has been preparing for war while the rest of the galaxy slept. The council chamber erupted in murmurs and protests. The High Counselor, a being of pure energy contained within an ancient mechanical shell, raised a hand for silence. What you say is true, Captain Rodriguez, but it raises a troubling question. If humanity possesses such powerful weapons, such advanced technology, what guarantee do we have that you won't become the very threat you claim to be defending against? Diana smiled slightly. The same guarantee we've always had. Humanity doesn't seek conquest, we never have. What we seek is survival, security, and the right to determine our own destiny. She gestured to the tactical displays showing Earth's defensive capabilities. Every weapon we created, every technology we developed was for one purpose: defense. Yet these weapons could easily be used for offense, the Drachnid representative growled, his mandibles clicking in agitation. Of course they could, Diana agreed. Just as your fleet could have been used for peaceful exploration instead of invasion. The difference isn't in the technology, it's in how we choose to use it. Admiral Hayes stepped forward. For 3,000 years, humanity kept its strength hidden. We watched, we prepared, we developed technologies that even now would astonish you. But we never struck first, we never sought to dominate. Even now, when we could easily expand our territory through force, we choose a different path. The High Counselor's mechanical form hummed thoughtfully. And what path is that? Partnership, General Rhodes answered. Real partnership, not the false peace of imposed treaties. Humanity's technologies, our innovations, our unique perspective, we offer them freely to those who truly seek peace. But we also offer a warning: never again will Earth be seen as an easy target. In the weeks that followed, the galaxy underwent a transformation. The Galactic Council was reformed, with Earth gaining a permanent seat among its leadership. The technologies humanity had developed in secret began to be shared with trusted allies, revolutionizing everything from space travel to energy production. Back aboard the Hyperion, Diana stood with her crew, watching Earth grow larger in the viewscreen as they returned home. "The Council's still nervous about us," Wei observed. "They're not used to being surprised." "They'll adapt," Ravi replied. "They don't have much choice. The age of complacency is over." Diana nodded. "Humanity spent 3,000 years preparing for a war we hoped would never come. Now that it has, now that we've shown what we're capable of, everything changes." She turned to her crew, the people who had helped humanity emerge from its long silence. "We're no longer the hidden warriors, the secret guardians. We're something more." "And what's that?" Captain Nathan asked. "We're humanity unleashed," Diana answered. "Not conquerors, not tyrants, but protectors. The galaxy wanted peace without strength, treaties without trust. We showed them a better way." As the Hyperion docked at Earth's newly revealed orbital defense station, Diana reflected on the journey that had brought them here. Humanity had emerged from its self-imposed silence not with a whisper, but with a demonstration of power that had shaken the galaxy to its core. But more importantly, they had shown wisdom in their strength, restraint in their victory. The Terran Age was beginning not as an era of conquest but as one of transformation. Humanity's long preparation had given them not just the means to fight, but the wisdom to know when not to. "Send word to all stations," Diana ordered. "Project Aegis is to be reconfigured for peaceful applications. Let's show the galaxy that humanity's greatest strength isn't our weapons, it's our ability to turn the tools of war into instruments of progress." As her orders were relayed, Diana watched the sun rise over Earth's horizon. The 3,000 years of silence were over. Humanity had revealed its strength, defended its home, and emerged stronger than ever. But the real challenge, building a lasting peace through strength rather than ignorance, was just beginning. The galaxy would never be the same, and neither would humanity.